if just in case you're watching this at a later date or catching this on the replay, this is when we go out live. So if you are watching on replay, listening on the podcast version, and you want to catch us live, you can do that. You can join in, get the comments in, all kinds of fun stuff that happen when you watch live. So it's kind of like TV that you can actually interact, and you can scream at us all you want, but if you actually type it out in a comment and post that comment in the live chat section, then we actually get to interact with some of those comments, and especially the ones that pertain to the discussion at hand. So make sure you are getting those comments in there if you are joining us live, especially if you are on Rumble. So we are live right now on Rumble. I should have double checked it. Let's make sure. I got to refresh the page. Hit play, hit mute. All right, we're going. All right, so if you're out there on Rumble, then let's pop that chat out. Pull that over there. So we will see those comments. I can address them. I cannot put them on the screen. However, if you're on YouTube or Facebook, then you can put those comments up, and we will actually put those up on screen just like that. So make sure you do that. If you catch us after the fact and you still want to reach out, you're perfectly welcome to leave a comment wherever you're seeing this right now or hearing this. But if you want to reach out directly, it is Sandhills Media Empire at gmail.com to reach us. We are not, how do I say this? We're not conceited. It's not conceited if you can back it up. We're trying to build an empire. So we'll get there one day. All right. Let's do this. Let's bring in our people here. We've got to go pull that off the screen. And we're going to hit that right there. We've got some folks joining us, and there will be at least one, I believe, hopping in later on when he gets freed up. But we do have Travis P11 and Pat in the bunker with us tonight. Fellas, how we doing?
Man, we are doing good.
Good. Glad to have you. All right. So let's go through some announcements here real quick, like we always do. We are very proud to be named among the cool shows over there on the Self Defense Radio Network. So go check that out. I believe it is selfdefense.net or sdrn.us. Those are either one will get you over to that page. Cool podcasts over there that you can. How does Cheryl Todd say it? You can binge listen to your heart's desire. So, but go later. Don't do it right now. We're live right now. So hang out here, interact with us, and then go binge listen to those other shows after this one is over. Also, we are very proud that Sandhills Defense is our sponsor for this entire season. So go check us out. We offer all kinds of firearms instructions. We've got some basic intro classes. We do private instruction either at our range or wherever. If you've got a safe place to go shoot, we have class. We'll travel, concealed handgun permit classes. We're working on some other curriculums. Curricula, is that the proper plural?
Curriculae, I believe.
Curriculi. Curriculos.
Yeah, we call them curriculums.
We're working on some other class offerings for some concealed carry stuff that doesn't involve actually getting a permit in anticipation of LB 77 getting through its final stage in the legislature and getting signed. So no news there yet. We're still waiting. We're still in limbo, but we are very hopeful that it gets through the last round. And then if that happens and if the stars align and it works, we would love to get all of our whole board for NFOA down there. And Brewer actually wants to have kind of an impromptu rally over there on the west side of the Capitol where Abe Lincoln's statue is over on the stairs. And he wants to see if he can get Pillin to come over there and have a signing ceremony and a little rally right there on the Capitol steps on the west side there. So stay tuned. If that actually comes to fruition, we will, of course, let everybody know. But anyway, we're offering all kinds of classes. And like I said, I'm building out a few others so that the people who already have a CHP or hopefully one day soon, don't need one to carry concealed here in Nebraska. You still need to know what you don't know, right? You still need to know the state laws. You still need to know legal use of force, all that kind of stuff. So we'll build that into one class and then leave out all the extra stuff that I do teach it because the state requires it. I just think it's silly. It should be reviewed by that point. Also, of course, as always, the views and opinions expressed on this podcast belong to the individual expressing them, and they do not reflect the views of any of our sponsors, our other guests, or the host. We're not offering any legal advice, no medical advice. If you want any other life advice, come to us. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. I don't know if I think I can say that without needing any kind of copyright license, but at any rate, too late. I said it. All right, so let's kind of roll here. Wait, we got comments real quick. I don't see anybody out there on the Rumble, although it says 2 watching now, but you're not commenting. So you Rumblers, get to rumbling over there. I don't know. I think rumbling just means, hey, speaking of which, if you're on Rumble, hit that Rumble button, that little thumbs up or the boxing glove or whatever it is. Like us, like the video. Do that. Throw some comments in there so we can talk to you and see that you're out there. Let us know where you are if you're on Rumble. And if you're on, you know what, just let us know where you are, unless we really know you well. So who's out there? Of course, Kingpin is out there. Sandhill Sweetheart, my bride, is in the chat. She's also over there in the producer's chair. She's multitasking tonight. So we're trying to get tax stuff done before a deadline as well. Jeff Moeller's out there. Pat's restreaming over on his channel. Those of you that comment on Pat's channel, I can pull your comments over onto the screen. Nobody else in the on our panel here can see those, but Pat and I. DJ's out there. He says curricula. Travis is out there and in here, and I believe that is it for now. So, all right, let's get those comments rolling. I think this is going to be kind of a fun topic. By fun, I mean I get pleasure. I'm not going to deny it. I have fun sometimes stirring the pot. What's really fun every now and then when I'm feeling particularly cantankerous is to do the internet equivalent of just throw a grenade into the room and then leave, right? Or I make some comment and post it up and then just let the comments roll from there and see what kind of arguments you can get. Sometimes it's kind of fun. Other times that happens when I absolutely didn't even expect it to on a given post. So we had some good discussion on a post on the Facebook page here a couple days ago now. It was a God thing. Somebody insists there isn't a God. Gets a little agitated by the people who want to say otherwise, and it's, for the most part, it's stayed respectful. So I haven't stuck anybody in timeout or taken any comments off, but it's been interesting. If you're on Facebook, you need to go look for the God post. There's a couple of them, so you'll have to look at lots of my posts. Oh darn! And if you haven't liked us on Facebook and followed the page, you need to go do that too. Jeff has a great question before we get going. I do not know anything yet. I just found out this afternoon that this even happened, and it was busy at work, so I did not get any downtime to plug into the world this afternoon. So apparently, Travis, you can verify this. Did Geist win the primary?
Let's see. Yes, and so she's going to be going against
She'll be the Republican candidate for mayor this fall.
Yep,
okay.
Yep.
All right. So she has abdicated her seat in the legislature. And so, yeah, now the governor is going to have to appoint somebody from that district, which I believe Defense Dad lives in that district. So maybe Defense Dad will get the nomination, the appointment to finish out the legislature. We could only hope. We could only hope that somebody, that pro-gun would actually take that seat. So we'll have to see. Those of you, especially those of you who live in that district, you really better be contacting the governor's office right now and just, explaining what you look for in a representative so that he kind of knows who to look for.
Hey, John, is there an idiot's guide or what do you call it? Dummies book for how to run in the Unicam? Idiot's Guide to Running the Nebraska Unicam, or what do they call it? The old books that we had back in the day, you know?
Yeah, it was the Idiot's Guide, but
Yeah.
the thing is, there must be, because it seems like there's a lot of idiots in there. So clearly, those idiots found the guide somewhere and got guidance to get in there. So
That, or they need to read the Idiot's Guidebook on how to do it, because the Idiot's Guidebooks have never let me down. I mean, it's taught me well.
Oh,
So.
maybe that's the one. Whoops. DJ says unicameral for dummies.
Oh, that's
yes,
it. There you go.
For
Unicameral for dummies. Yeah.
That's the one we need.
Yeah.
All right. So, and G Webs is out there, says, for what it's worth, he cannot accept the Nebraska State Senate position just because he's not a resident of that district. Never mind the fact he's also not a resident of the state, but never mind.
Maybe next time.
So G Webs, it'd be cool. I wish that we had you or somebody like you to run or be appointed in that position and then ultimately run for that office. That'd be great. All right. So yeah, that's where we are there. I don't know anything about what's going to happen. Time will tell. Jeff did comment back and said that he heard it's going to happen tomorrow. So I guess it's probably too late. He already, I'm sure, has somebody in mind. So we'll have to see who that's going to be. Hopefully they will, they'll do a good job and we won't lose that, or I shouldn't say we won't lose that vote. Hopefully we gain that vote back, since Suzanne Geist is notorious for present not voting when it really matters. So I guess we'll see what happens there. But I don't know that if it's going to be somebody who doesn't like guns and is going to vote no, then, I mean, have we gained anything? Have we lost anything? It's hard saying. All right. So we're going to talk a little bit tonight just about society. And I'm going to start the night off, and Travis and Pat, you both were here last week. So I honestly, if people don't realize this about me by now, this shouldn't come as a shock, but sometimes I get rolling and words just kind of start, coming out of me, and I'll try to get a thought out. And sometimes things don't happen the way I intend them to. Now, I'm lazy. I'm not going to go back and listen to last week's show. I really hate listening to my own voice, especially when it's being replayed on one of these. So very rarely, unless I've got good reason, want to find a specific soundbite to cut out. Very rarely will I go back and listen to my stuff, rewatch these shows. If anybody wants to go back and do it, you're welcome to. You can be the fact checkers for this one. So somebody had commented about, they didn't agree that what was it that they thought I said last week? If you go out into society with a firearm, then you owe it to society to go take firearm classes. Now, I don't believe that. I don't believe that that's what I said. If those words came out of me, somebody fact check it, because I said that's not even what I said. Go back and re-listen. Now,
maybe I said more like you owe it to society to have some training.
I will stand corrected if somebody can tell me that, yes, that's actually what I said. But here's what I believe I said, and I'll set the record straight, regardless of what words came out. This is my honest belief. If you go into society with a firearm, you owe it to society to be responsible. You should have some training. That doesn't mean you have to sign up to take a class. I don't care who teaches you. I don't care if you teach yourself. I honestly, because that was brought up, how do you know that the trainer knows what they're talking about? Well, how do you know that a news reporter knows what they're talking about? How do you know that a headline is correct? You research. You go to other training. You train under multiple trainers, right? That's how you would ultimately know. But the point is that, I mean, that's beside the point, because what I said was you owe it to society to be responsible, know how to be safe and responsible with that firearm. You're going to need some training. That's all I said. I didn't say that you have to go spend money on a class. I just said you need some training. Okay. If you're going to use your words in public, you need some training on how to use those words in public too. You owe it to society to be responsible, right? Otherwise, if you're irresponsible with your words, there are consequences for that. And if you are irresponsible with your firearm, there are some consequences for that too, right? And rightly so. That's how society works. So that got me thinking. There's a lot of stuff that goes on. And when we talk about society, let's kind of, I want to kind of deconstruct the concept just a little bit here. So let's first establish what is society. Okay, let's take a step back. Before there was such a thing as society, what did we have? We had laws of nature, right? Pretty much that was it. The law of the jungle, right? We've got, you know, the natural laws, physics, and all that, right? You know, I can identify as Superman, but the fact is, if I jump off a tall building, I'm not going to be able to fly. All right, I'll die. So, so now that we have, you know, groups of humans living together in proximity, something has to happen, right? We can't all just go revert back to the basic needs of I need food, I need clothing, I need shelter, and that's all that matters, right? That, I mean, you cannot coexist very well with people without laying some framework of rules, which is what society is. Society, in my mind, and I don't care what Webster says. I've not gone to dictionary.com and looked up the definition of society, but in my mind, society is the framework of rules and the people who have agreed to live within that framework, right? That's ultimately what it is. So we have our own community here online. We have some rules, you know, try not to be dicks to each other, try to help people, don't jump all over them because they said clip and not magazine, or worse yet, they said clipazine. So, right. But I mean, it's a teachable moment. There's a right way and a wrong way to convince them what to say. So, yeah, Scott's got it over there on the Facebook side. Basically, you're saying be responsible enough to know the operational functions and safety regarding your EDC. Yeah, exactly. Know how to keep it from going off until you want it to. That's ultimately what it comes down to, and that only comes with training. You have to train for the 4 rules of gun safety. You have to practice not pointing it at anything. I mean, that's got to be a conscious thought, right? So, all right, so let's go back here to society. So a group of people get together and they say, all right, we're going to set some rules and we're all going to abide by those rules. And a lot of those are contrary to natural law, right? Natural law says if I'm bigger than you and I'm stronger than you and you've got something and I want it, I can take it from you. If I want you dead, I can unalive you, because that's how animals work, right? The natural law says might makes right. Society is just the opposite. Society, a good society, a society that is healthy and thriving and actually beneficial to all of its members, might does not make right. I mean, everybody gets equal representation regardless of, you know, how big they are, how strong they are, physically fit, whatever, right? So we have to set have a set of rules that we all have to abide by, no matter how big we are, how small we are. Everybody plays the same way, right? And if you really want to break this down into some easy to follow analogies, let's make it a sports game. There's a rule book in any sport at any level. There's a rule book, and the players, the society, have all agreed to abide by those rules. And if any of them break the rules, then there are consequences, right? So that's what helps keep it fair. Because, you know, in a basketball game, the rule is you have to dribble the ball and you can't take more than 2 steps unless you are in the pros, which let's not go down that rabbit hole, but you take 2 steps and then shoot, pass, whatever. But any more than that, it's called a travel. They blow the whistle and then the other team gets the ball, right? Or in hockey, some of the penalties result in you actually get taken out of society for a while. So you go to jail, right? That's what the penalty box is. It's the same as going to jail. The referees are the law enforcers, right? They're the ones that make sure the rules get followed. As long as nobody's breaking the rules, they don't blow the whistle, right? Especially in hockey where the puck very rarely goes out of play. So they just let the play go. And they're just there to keep the peace, right? Keep everything flowing the way it's supposed to flow. Until somebody breaks the rules, and then they have to step in and work on it. And so I guess kind of what I want to get back to is, you know, we have society. We've all agreed on these rules. But then once society breaks down, I mean, all of that's out the window, right? All of a sudden, the rules don't matter. We don't have anybody to enforce them anyway. If nobody's going to call the penalties or nobody's going to call fouls, then what stops you from completely tackling somebody on the basketball court? Right? Nothing. So then it goes back to, if I'm bigger than you, I can take the ball away from you. Right? Or if I'm bigger and faster than you, I can catch you. I can do what I want. Nobody's going to call me for a foul, clotheslines, whatever, everything goes. So then we go back to the natural law, right? Society degenerates, and that's actually how the world works. So I've got some other stuff I want to bring in to flesh this point out, but I'll take a breather so I can get a drink here and let you guys just chime in on the concept. First of all, is anybody have a different take on what society really is, or do you pretty much agree with the way that not very well, but I tried to explain it?
John, I think it's fine. I mean, I sometimes think maybe people don't realize how far away we are from going back to that what law of the jungle mentality. Say the electricity goes out for 72 hours, you're back there. That's just it is. But no, I agree with you. But the big question is why have we evolved into the society that we have now? Why are we not as we were before? Is it because we see ourselves above primal species, that we need this rule of law in order for our society to function and thrive, so we don't get conquered by the bigger outside force, say an outside invader? EMP? Yeah,
that'd be one.
So here, the question I have, John, is: are we taking this into some sort of a prepper discussion, or what are your thoughts here on society? Are we talking about how fragile society is, or are we comparing it to something? What do you think?
No, but I've got kind of a place in mind that I want to get to, but it's not necessarily with the devolution of society so much as, how do I say this? Not society completely breaking down, but in my mind, and I know a lot of people would agree with this, our society today is degrading. It's not that it's breaking down. If anything, they're trying to impose more rules than ever. But I think to a fault. I mean, it is not beneficial to people as a whole. And I kind of want to go into that a little bit.
Look at DJ's comics. I think he's got a good idea. Downfall society thing or an erosion of culture.
And
that's a good point. Because I mean, this is the law is still there.
Yes,
the maintaining of law is still there. Yeah.
Yes and no, I guess. I did want to throw a comment up here that G-Web's put up too. We follow rules because they give us guidance, with or without police, in his opinion. Yeah, but again, because society has conditioned us to walk with integrity, or a lot of us have had integrity kind of drilled into us, right? Which is basically doing the right thing even when nobody's there to see, right? Or when nobody will ever find out otherwise. But again, that ain't the way the world works. So I kind of want to bring everything back to that ain't the way the world works. And I'll get to that point here. Roll with me here. I'll get there. All right. But
John, that is how the world works now. I mean, we're not.
That's how society works.
What do you mean?
Well, society works in a specific way, right? But again, I mean, integrity. To how do I say this?
That as a top behavior.
There's no such thing as integrity in the animal kingdom. Right?
Is it because they can't process on that level to think of doing the right thing because they're living on instinct and we're not living on instinct?
We're the only animal that can reason, right? So
not always. There are some very advanced animal species that think on a higher level than what we think they do.
Morality is definitely it's relative, and it's a very subjective thing, right? What's moral, what's whatever. Hey, Jeff's over there on Rumble now. So here's what I want to get to, because I've been thinking about some stuff. I see a lot of stuff lately. This week, just more icing on the cake for you Bud Light drinkers, or I should say for you former Bud Light drinkers. We're seeing so many things right now that I'm getting told are one thing. When every fiber of my being, everything that I've ever learned my whole life about what's true, says the exact opposite. And I don't want this to become a transsexual chat. That's not what I am going for here necessarily. But that's one of the biggest things where I see this manifest. And I'm not saying that transsexuals are causing the devolution of society. I am saying that that is manifesting as a symptom of the devolution of our society a little bit. So what's happening is we've got some stuff going on where in a lot of areas, we're starting to make concessions for less than 1% of our population and expecting the other 99+% to just fall into line. We're being told repeatedly across mostly social media, occasionally now even news outlets, that gender is fluid. You can be whatever you want. I mean, yeah, sure, we got told that as kids too. I mean, you can be whatever you want when you grow up, but there are some lines that, again, the laws of nature and science say otherwise. So really what I want to get to here is it feels kind of like we're living in that old story, The Emperor's New Clothes, where the emperor is walking down the street, look at my new clothes, and everybody's afraid of him, right? They're afraid of getting punished if they don't go along with this ruse, and there's no clothes on the man. He's butt naked. And finally there's one little kid that's like, you guys realize that he's not wearing anything, right? And pretty soon, well, I guess, yeah, if we're honest, yeah. There's so many things. Gender is just one of them right now, but it's the biggest one. It gets brought to the front burner time and time again. You can't function, watch the news, go to social media without hearing about the latest this, that, or the other of what's going on. So I know I'm going to make some people mad. I'm not intending to alienate anybody. I've thrown this out before. I'm going to throw it out again right now. If you're trans, I don't care. As long as you're old enough to be an adult, I don't care how you want to live your life. And if you're cool to me, I'm going to be cool back to you. And if you're a dude that says, hey, I was born a dude, but I don't want to live my life as a dude. I feel like I was, plumbed wrong, and I want to be a female. Okay. That's your thing. It's your life. You gotta do what you gotta do. I respect that. Where I lose the respect, or where you lose my respect, is if you say, I am a woman, and you have to say I am a woman. Well, you're not a woman. You're living as a woman, right? You're acting like a woman. You're pretending to be a woman, but you're not a woman. So the people who, again, blur reality, that's not the way the world works. And if we go down that road and we get away from what's actually true too far, we come very close to a tipping point where pretty soon society can't be tipped back in the right direction. And that's my thought. I'm more worried about, how far can we possibly go down this direction before we're past the point of no return? Because that ain't the way the world works. There are anomalies. Yes, there's an exception to almost every rule, right? But they're rules for a reason. They are scientific laws because they can be proven over and over and over again, right? And that's why we say that, a genetic anomaly is something different between two X chromosomes or an X and Y chromosome. But I don't care how many dresses Caitlyn Jenner puts on. I don't care how much makeup Caitlyn Jenner puts on. I don't care how many surgeries Caitlyn Jenner could have. 500 years from now, somebody digs that grave up and does a DNA test on the bones, besides looking at the bone structure and saying, well, that's a male skeleton. They'll do a DNA test on the bones and say, well, yeah, this was a male. The
But
dresses,
John, what
the
if
wigs, the makeup, they're all long gone by then. Nobody can tell, right? They may see some evidence of maybe some surgeries. I don't know what you'd see on the bones, but that's going to be it. At the end of the day, Bruce Jenner's still a dude, right? He's still genetically coded as a male. So I'm not, and again, I know it's going to sound to a lot of people like I'm coming down on being trans, and I really not, because I really could care less how people want to live their life. I do care about how people want to push something that isn't true and make the rest of us say that it is. And that's my biggest gripe that I really wanted to get to. So now I'm thinking of, again, how does this affect society? Because it's a symptom. Transsexuals are not causing the ruination of the Western culture by any shape or means, right? It's a symptom. I've said many times, trans is the new iPhone. It used to be, if you wanted to be accepted in high school, you had to have the right iPhone. You still do. But now, you get better preferential treatment if you're either a couple specific races, or you're a couple specific sexual orientations. And I don't see what transgender has to do with sexual orientation. Side note, I don't understand why there's a T in LGBTQI plus WXYZ semicolon #pound. I don't get it. Why are the transsexuals in the rainbow community? Everybody else, all these other people, it talks about who they're attracted to and who they want to sleep with. Transsexual just means that I was born with that, but I really wish I had this. And it's got nothing to do with sexuality. It's got everything to do with physical form, right? So in emotions, but not attractions, not sexual preference. So anybody that can explain that one to me, go ahead, because I can't wrap my head around how they've infiltrated the rainbow community, and all of a sudden that has zero to do with who they're attracted to, but whatever. So let's talk about some other things, get away from just one topic tonight.
No, John, I got a question to ask you though.
Yeah.
Okay, so the question I have is, you know what you said about the bones being dug up and the genetic classification and the DNA. They'll say these remains 500 years from now, or of a man, right? But while that person's alive, in their mind, if they think and feel and have a preference that's not their own gender, that you would associate with their gender, like they think or feel or want to wear women's clothes or prefer to be a different gender, then is there any harm in saying, well, this person believes that they're a woman, they're just physically not, their DNA is not? Is it wrong to consider that person, if they want to be referred to as a woman or she, is that bad because you're just respecting their preference? I mean, what if it was,
I don't think so. And that's again, there's a duality there. There's two separate issues here. If you are born feeling like you're trapped in the wrong gender body, I can't wrap my head around that. I don't know what that feels like. I can't begin to imagine what that feels like. But I can imagine this much. I can imagine that it feels terrible, right? And I really do care deeply about the feelings of somebody who's in that position. Okay. Now we can beat statistics to death all we want. I mean, I don't remember who said it, but there's three kinds of lies in this world, right? Lies, damn lies, and statistics. But statistically speaking, there doesn't seem to be a drop off in the suicide rate post-operation versus pre-operation. It's an emotional and a mental anguish here that the physical doesn't seem to cure it, right? It doesn't fill that hole that's in somebody's life. And I can't imagine having that kind of hole in your life to begin with. So I it's not that I don't care about somebody like that. But again, if there's somebody that says, hey, this is what I'm dealing with, and I really want to live my life as the opposite of what I was born with, again, doesn't come negatively against me, doesn't affect me, right? But I'm still allowed to say, yeah, that's a dude that wants to live as a woman. And if they're not a jerk and they've got my respect, I'll call her a her. If she changed her name from Stephen to Stephanie, then I'll call her Stephanie. Again, because we're based on mutual respect, right? If they're a jerk, then I'd probably call her, asshole or something. I mean, that's just,
we do that to anybody. It doesn't necessarily have to be.
It's got nothing to do with being the trans.
It could be me or Pat. Who knows?
It's not about being trans. It's about the expectation. And don't tell me otherwise. There are people out there that do expect this out of me. They expect me to go along with something that's not true, and say that that's not a trans woman, that she just is a woman. No, she's not, and she'll never be. She'll never be able to conceive life, grow it inside her body, produce milk to feed it. That's never going to happen, right? And maybe one day down the road, science can replicate such a thing, but even that's fake, right? Because that's not how that person was born. So if we want to say that's somebody that wants to live their life as a woman, sure. If they're not bothering anybody else, let's give them the respect, right? But I'm still not going to admit that that's a woman. That's a man living as a woman, right? And here's, Travis, you asked, is there any harm in that? it becomes harmful when it's not universal across the board, because now let's piss everybody else off. I say that I identify as a woman and I want to live my life as a woman. All of a sudden, hey, I'm untouchable, right? You're not allowed anymore in our society to argue with that. And that's why I figured people are going to get pissed off and butthurt, because I've said I refuse to say that it's truth. I'll say that, yeah, that's the way that they want to live, but that doesn't make it true, right? So let's flip this around. If I said that I want to identify as black, and you have to treat me like I'm a black person, and if we start handing out reparations, then I get them too, because I'm just as oppressed as every other black person. Now all of a sudden we've got a major problem on our hands, and I'll probably get thrown off of YouTube for even saying such a thing here. But that is not the same thing. And I have seen time and time again where people have done the man on the street videos or whatever, where there's people saying, hey, you can't say that that's not a woman. If they say they're a woman, they're a woman. Okay, well, how about if I say I'm a black man? Well, you can't do that. Now what, are you a racist? Now you're a terrible person, and we can't. No. It's all or none. If I say I'm this, then you have to agree that I'm this, right? No, you don't have to agree to that, right? Because that's not how the world works. I don't have to agree to the other either. So that's kind of where I'm a little concerned, is all of a sudden I'm starting to see, again, it's not because of trans people. The trans issue is just the one that is front and center right now on everybody's mind. So, especially after, like I said, the Bud Light fiasco, throwing more fuel on the fire lately.
What was that, John? Because I completely missed it. What was up with the Bud Light thing?
Okay, so there's this human being out there called Dylan Mulvaney, I think is the right name. Okay. And I don't know if that's a new trans name or not, but this dude, who apparently is not even getting anything chopped off, decided to live life as a woman. Okay, again, dude wants to live his life as a woman. Not my life to live. It's not my thing, but you know what? Neither is salsa music or mariachi music. It's not what I listen to, but it's great, for the people that like it. So Dylan Mulvaney wants to live life as a woman. Started a little over a year ago now. And has been putting up TikTok videos and stuff, day 1 of being a girl, day 43 of being a girl, and all this. And you can find, he even went to the White House and went in and met the president and stuff like that. And so on day 365 of being a girl, Bud Light presented Dylan Mulvaney with a special can with Dylan's picture on the can. Now they're saying that they don't intend to mass produce those and put them out on shelves. My own personal tinfoil hat theory is they fully intended to, but now that it's caused a stink, they've walked that part back. But they have entered a sponsorship agreement with Dylan Mulvaney for, it's kind of like getting your face on the Wheaties box, I guess, or whatever. So that's what's happened. And now a lot of people are mad and don't want to drink Bud. And again, the memes are fun because there's a lot of funny ones out there right now. So if you're seeing beer memes, that's why. But the best thing I've seen wasn't even a meme. It was just a comment on, a headline or something like that, where, Bud Light's doing this and somebody's like, that's all right, I drink Busch.
John, you know what's ironic about all this? I mean, first of all, I don't drink any of those, so it doesn't affect me at all. They get none of my money. But second, right. Do you remember the Jeffree Star and the whole Beretta thing that came up?
The what now?
Nobody cared in the gun community. Nobody threw a stink about it. Jeffree Star is a cosmetics mogul, all right? YouTube channel, trans male that lives life as a woman. Loves guns, loves shooting, has a house in like Montana or Wyoming because she can't have a lot of those guns in California where her business is based. And so she's been a lifelong fan of Beretta. Well, Beretta actually created a custom gun for her with her, like a bunch of engravings. It was pink and has all these stars on it and stuff. And she actually went to Italy to go pick it up and was presented with the gun, got to shoot it, absolutely loved it.
Cool.
And, it's just ironic because I'm looking at all the comments on the video for her receiving the gun. And people in the community are like, hey, that's great. Let's bring more people in the community. Awesome. It's cool Beretta did this. Nobody was saying that Beretta was, pandering to a new demographic or anything like that. They just said, cool. They recognize that this person's been a lifelong fan and Jeffree Star's dad was a huge gun person. But it's kind of funny that, none of us made us think about it, but then Bud Light's going to put it on the can and then people just completely lose it. It's just kind of ironic, showing how welcoming the gun community can be
the
at
gun
times.
community,
We're happy to have
again, you're
anybody
right,
come into
is
our
one of
community.
the most welcoming. So Jeffree Star,
Yeah.
is that the right name then?
Starr, that's his legal name, her legal name, but huge like cosmetics mogul.
Does she go by something different now then?
No, Jeffrey, it's JEFFREYSTARR, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But yeah, if you
this is a person that was started off male and now wants to live life as a female.
Does yeah, lives life as a woman, dresses as a woman, has
just didn't change the name or whatever. Okay, and that's now again, I don't care.
And it's just funny that nobody's freaking out. You didn't hear this boycott Beretta because of Jeffree Star.
And again, I mean, we've got, I've got friends in the 2A community that are trans. Aaron Paulette comes to mind. Gina Roberts comes to mind. Why can't I ever think of Nikki's last name? Nikki, we met her at AmCon a couple years ago. Super sweet people, right? Very nice people. I don't care. But again, they're not telling me that our friendship, our interaction is contingent upon me saying that, hey, you are a real 100% genuine female person now. I mean, that's not what they're about, right? They just say, hey, here's my story. I started here, but I wanted to be here, and now I'm doing this, and I feel better about myself. Hey, cool. Some people want to lose 200 pounds and feel better about themselves, and that's good for them too, right? You do what you got to do, or get whatever, plastic surgery or something. If it makes you sleep better, then I don't care. But again, I just don't want to be told that I have to admit something that's not true. G-Webs has a great comment. So I can spend an hour talking without letting anybody else talk and trying to get a point out. And then G-Webs comes along with one 3-line comment and 2 lines on the screen here. How much of the riffs we experience are natural versus created by outside actors intended to create riffs and distractions? Yeah, bingo. I mean, that's tonight's discussion right there. Okay, we're talking about the devolution of society. We're talking about that ain't the way the real world works, right? But that's really what it comes down to is, again, how much of that is created by outside actors, because they know that if we ever stand united, they don't have a chance to control us. Is really what it comes down to. Right? I mean, gun control's never been about the guns. It's always been about the control. And all of this is, gosh, I sound like I'm in the Matrix now. It's just another form of control, right? I mean,
that's right. That's right.
So
DJ Play Nice saying, is this a sociological discussion? We don't know what it was going to turn into tonight.
It's whatever it is, dude.
I thought we were going to discuss our favorite Mountain House meals because we got to stock up before the Boogaloo, but
which we don't even know if that's ever going to happen.
Yeah, is that real? Is that not real? Take one pill to find out, take the other, and you'll live it. Yeah.
I like Scott's comment too. Suffering mental health issues is unfortunate, but I don't have to pretend just because they say I have to. Again, yeah, and that's what it comes down to. So some of these people are truly deluded, right? I mean, I don't know what else to call it. They're flat out deluded. Like they've got themselves convinced that this story that they've concocted is in fact the truth when it's not, and then they can't handle it when anybody tries to poke holes in it or would insist that something other than their story is actually the truth, right? And things can be true, but there's difference between things being true and the truth, with all caps, the truth, right? I mean, sure, Travis, is it true that I'm going to pick on you, just fair warning, okay? This is done for an illustrative purpose and not to actually pick on Travis.
This is just a practice scenario here,
right?
Yeah,
so Travis, is it true that that you're no longer married because things weren't perfect and you're not a perfect person, right? Is that true that you're? And I don't even know the details, and I don't want you to tell them I don't need to know them anyway.
No, no, I don't
out
think
there.
I don't know if there's anything either one of us could have done to
But
keep the marriage going at all.
it's. I mean, you're not a perfect person, right?
Pretty close. I'm probably a B plus.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
okay then.
yeah,
At
yeah. I
least you're
mean,
not
look at me. Come
conceited.
on, John. I'm the complete package
I
here.
love how
Bro.
humble you are.
No, actually, yeah.
But
No, I'm not.
honestly,
I'm
yeah,
far
sure,
from it. Yeah,
sure. So that is true. But the truth is that Travis is still a good guy. Right? I mean, just because you did something poorly doesn't mean you're or even that you did something that was bad, that doesn't make you a bad person. Right? So there's a difference between what's true and the truth. And that was explained to me once, and I've really appreciated that, ever since I first heard that is, if you wreck your car, is it true that you didn't drive very well in that moment? Yeah, that's true. Is it, the truth is that you're still a good driver though, 99% of the time, right? I mean, accidents happen. There's so many things out there that we lose track of what is the truth. And sometimes people don't want to admit that there are absolute truths out there, but there are, right? I mean, gravity is an absolute truth. There's no way to make gravity disappear. Now we know how to harness other laws of physics, right? To overcome gravity, and we've attained obviously flight and stuff like that. We've even left our atmosphere before, but even at that, we have to overcome gravity, right? Because gravity is an absolute truth. And if you don't have a way to create lift that is a greater force than gravity, you're going to fall. You can't fly, right? That's just how that works, which is why I could tie a cape around my neck and jump off the Empire State Building, and I cannot fly. I will die. And that's an absolute truth, right? Short of some sort of a miracle happening where I don't hit the ground. But other than that, yeah, that's, if I hit the ground at that speed, I'm not going to live through it. That's exactly what an absolute truth is. Now I can say that I identify as Superman, right? And you guys have to believe me that I can fly, and you have to bend your life around my delusion. How is that fair? It's not fair to make everybody else bend to your delusion. And that's where I have a problem with it. Is, if you're living a deluded life, that's fine. You live your life. But the minute that you start to encroach upon my beliefs, then your rights end where mine begin, right? And that's really what it comes down to is, there's a lot of nations now where you can be jailed for dead naming somebody. Now, is that a dick move? Yeah, it's not nice to dead name somebody, especially if you do it on purpose. But in our country, we have the right to say whatever we want within a few parameters. But we can call somebody whatever name we want to, and you're not going to get locked up for that, right? I mean, it's just, you can call people by a name. I could call Travis by any other name, and he might not like it, and we might not be friends anymore if I don't stop doing it. But he's not going to be able to call the cops on me for that. So really what I want to get back to now is, I guess, the discussion of, where are we going? Is there a way to stop this bus? Right? Because I want to get off. I don't want to ride any farther down this line. I mean, I really don't want to see the truth get trampled by the wayside, and where I'm forced to admit things that just aren't true, and we see it all the time. I see it in the debates for LB 77. A few of the senators that are against the bill want to spout things that simply are not true. Now, I don't have proof that they're intentionally being misleading, that they're lying. They may believe what they're saying is true, but that doesn't make it true.
Yeah.
So what can we do? I mean, we just need to go back to, there's a few things. Again, we go back to science, right? Certain things are true. It's been proven over and over again, right? Certain things are absolute. Math is a science that's absolute. Now there's theoretical physics and theoretical whatever out there, sure, but I don't care who you are. 2 plus 2 is always going to equal 4. It'll never equal anything else. It's not racist to say so. And that's the truth. And anybody that says otherwise, again, we're going to have probably a disagreement of opinions on a insurmountable scale. We're not going to get along. Let's see what else. G-Webs watched a very interesting debrief on current China situation. They profit from us being confused and distracted. Of course they do. So, I mean, it's not just China. They've got a name now for what China, Russia, Brazil. What do they call that? Something brick?
Brazil nut syndrome.
Bricks or something like that. Mexico just joined into that organization of countries now. I mean, it's literally looking like a triple axis, more than triple though. Not a triple axle, you figure skating fans. Go back in history to the late 30s and early 40s and the triple axis, the axis powers. Let's see here. What else do we have? DJ says custom marketing exists, so mass distribution of the beer didn't have to happen. Distribution can deliver specific products to specific customers. Easy. A bar doesn't care. They don't get them. They never have to be in stores. Okay, cool. Let's see here. DJ says scientific law is the only fact or truth. All else is interpretation. I believe that in a specific context. I believe that's very true. Question: if you can fly faster than a speeding bullet, then what caliber is it? Dodge caliber.
I was going to say 45 gap.
Most airplanes fly faster than what a Dodge caliber can drive. So the Dodge caliber is the correct answer to that. Otherwise, 380 for the win because 380 is the best self-defense cartridge. It's all you need. Let's see, what else did I miss here? Anything? Sine wave. Okay, now we're getting back into trig and calculus and stuff. I haven't touched that since high school, so no.
Let me go dust off the TI-83 here real quick, and
I understand sine waves and a bell curve is a cosine wave. I remember that much because it never drops below the midline. But let's see, Pat's still out there. Gizzard's out there. Okay, Gizzard's got the computer guy's always got to throw crap into the mix here, right? Stir up the pot just like I like to do. In a base 10 number system, 2 plus 2 equals 4. Not so in a base 3 number system where 2 plus 2 equals 11. Just saying. All right, Gary, that's all I'm just saying.
Those engineers got to show up and just mess it all up now, you know?
The world, again, society, we have agreed to stick with the base 10 system if that's what that's called then. So we're going to make that the standardized system. Again, standardized systems, right? The metric system or the standard, the imperial system of measurement. We had to agree upon a predetermined set of measurements, right? So that we can even compare things. That could go dirty. We're going to move away from that right now. But whether it's in millimeters or inches or feet, whatever, I mean, we're men and we compare things.
Isn't the imperial system superior because the metric system was completely based off an arbitrary system of measurement? It just said this is a millimeter, and then everything times 10 goes from there. Whereas with us, wasn't the inch like the king's thumb or something, and the pound was a weight of so much rock, that's...
Well, I don't remember which king, but 1 foot was literally the king's foot.
What's wrong with that? I think that's a perfect metric of measurement right there.
No, I mean, I can think in feet and inches, right? Because and miles, because that's what I was.
Yeah,
it's all I've known. But if we're gonna start getting into like furlongs and cubits,
liters. I mean, I know liters because of Mountain Dew, which is really sad.
Right.
And I only know kilometers because I watch Formula One racing.
do we make liter of cola?
Get a liter of cola for a cop.
Just get a large Farva. I don't want a large Farva. I want a liter of cola.
Liter. That's right. That's sad that I only know metric system because like food, or a pint because of trips down to O Street,
So now I've got a question for the crowd here. Absolute truth, Gary says, absolute truth. is not absolutely true.
That is false.
Is that true?
No, that is false. Because if it's absolute, it's got to be absolutely true, Gary.
Okay, so again, at the risk of pissing somebody off here,
there we go. Look at that. I want that on a bumper sticker.
Is superior because it's made in America.
Absolutely.
Do you guys want to tell him
that it doesn't originally come from America?
Yeah, no, sure doesn't.
Well, it's used by Americans, so that's good enough.
By Americans.
Yeah.
Yep. And in fact,
plus you get more. Like when you go buy a pound of hamburger for like $5, you know, if you go get a kilogram of hamburger, a pound is way more for the same money. We always get more, you know? Yeah.
Well, no, if you're selling a kilogram of burger for the same $5 that a pound costs, I'll take the kilogram.
Is a kilogram more than a pound?
2.2 pounds, dude.
Oh my God. Well, then I want the metric system. It always seems like everything European is like smaller. But like a can of soda is like 500 milliliters, and we're 16 ounces. So you get more. European stuff is always so dainty and just so fragile. I want the super size is what I want. Okay, that's what you don't get in Europe. So
Scott says my ignorance is showing. No, it wasn't made in America, but it was perfected here. We'll go with that. It was perfected here, and I say that because we're the only ones that are still going with it. So Clint out there, my favorite screen name ever, Clint has a very good question. So if we divide 123 genders by white supremacy, how much climate change do we get? Okay, Clint, how dare you? There we go. That's the right answer for that.
Is that your Greta Thunberg impersonation?
Yeah, that was
Greta.
I should be in school right now.
Yeah.
Oh, did you guys see the fun clip where her and the German cops were rehearsing them busting her, and then
geez,
they did bust her on camera, you know, and everybody got the clips of them hauling her off, but what they didn't show you was them cutting up and laughing and stuff ahead of that.
Or the photos of her complaining about, what was it about? All of her bags are sitting against the wall, talking about the inefficiency of the German train system. And then the next picture, somebody snapped a photo of her like chowing down on all the complimentary ice cream and food you get on the train ride.
Yeah.
Just has a pile of yeah.
Oh, now
a mountain of Skittles and a bunch of ice cream.
Now they're coming out of the woodwork. We've got Jay knows conversions too.
Okay, well then I want the kilogram but it always seems like metric stuff, like anything you're imported from Europe is always smaller. I don't know why.
Here's the thing though. I mean, you can go buy a pound of beef, you can go buy a kilogram of beef, but instead of that $5 for a pound, you're going to end up paying what's that going to end up being? 2.2 times, so like $11, right, for your kilogram.
11. So
I don't know. I'm not good at math in my head.
Well, there's one thing you and I can agree to: American beef superior to all the other beef in the world.
Clint, Clint, you won the internet tonight. We should just shut this down because it's not going to get any better than that. Number of nations using the metric system that landed people on the moon, 0. Oh, Gary's got to come back.
Gary's got to be the somber voice reality.
Let's bring truth back into it.
Gary's always got to bring us back down to the ground.
They did use metric for computations during the Apollo missions. Hey, Crumpy's out there. What's up, Crumpy?
No, Gary, they use long division.
Yeah.
And fractions without a calculator.
Fractals and string
fractals.
Theory. I don't know what any of that
parsecs means. No, Gary, they use parsecs.
Yep. Which is actually, here's the thing, that is
it's not even a unit of measurement, right?
Well, it is in the Star Wars universe, but people think
it's not a distance measurement though.
Distance. People think it's a measure of time because Han Solo said that the Millennium Falcon made the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs. But the way that the nav computers work with their hyperspace jumps is they actually make multiple small jumps. And the computer on the Millennium Falcon is one of the most complicated and smartest nav computers in the galaxy.
Commodore 64, I think. But yeah.
Parsec is a unit of distance. So that the ship actually calculated the shortest distance in a series of jumps between the 2 points, not the shortest amount of time. And so, yeah, that's a fun little Star Wars fact there for anybody that didn't know. Oh my gosh, Gary smells like Teen Spirit.
Yes, he does.
Woo,
yes, he does. Gary Colbane, right? Yeah.
Gary Colbane, except for he's still alive.
Still alive. Yeah. A moment of silence. All right.
maybe more like Gary Love then, because
Gary Love.
Mosquitoes, male and female. Yeah, we've kind of again.
Is it only the females that are the bloodsuckers? Is that right?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they don't actually ingest the blood. They don't they don't actually go lay their eggs someplace. Or if they do, they lay them and then they die right next to it or whatever. Because then when the eggs hatch, the larvae come out, and that blood that they had stored up in their body is what feeds the larva.
Oh, okay.
That's what that's for. So the males don't
So they
actually
feed
have
their
to.
spawn with our life
Yeah,
fluids.
they don't
Okay.
drink your blood. They just suck it up and then they use it to feed their kids later.
Just
So
tap the keg and then just put it off to the side for.
that's basically what it is.
There
Yep.
you go. There you go.
Yep. Instead of tap a keg of Bud, it's tap a keg of Travis.
Oh, geez.
So
Probably. They go after me hardcore in the
I don't know.
summertime.
So when do we get the Travis P11 pre-op Bud Light can? Or
they asked me about one, but I told them that I'm already contracted with Busch. That's why you saw the camouflage cans of Busch Light that came out with the blaze orange on them. That was my inspiration. So
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, they looked at my hat and said, Travis, we want that on our can. I said, you go right ahead. So
right.
Yep. The Travis P11 cans. Teespring's not printing those yet. So not yet. The Travis P11 store does not have customized cans. I'm sure there's somebody out there that will make you a custom printed like vinyl label for your own, your own beer or whatever. But yeah,
beer can wrap.
Yeah. I wouldn't do Bud. I wouldn't do
shrink
Budweiser
wrap.
anyway. I'd have to have something expensive and imported.
Slip it over your normal can and then just hit it with the hair dryer and it'll shrink to fit.
Oh, absolutely, man. Yep.
Oh, only available as a single can.
Oh,
wow.
That's right.
Wow. Yep. Shots fired. All right.
Absolutely. You just get one. Enjoy it. You only get one, Gary.
So let's try and put this thing somewhat back on the rails here a little bit, because we've gotten way far away. I finally got to talk about some trans stuff, and hopefully I haven't alienated.
But John, this is how the world works. We get real. We're making it very real right now.
Yeah, I mean, you expect people who aren't professionals to stick with the topic and just go linear.
Gary and I are about to grapple in the octagon here,
for the whole show, and that ain't the way the world works. No, honestly though, so there's a lot of things that are out there. So if we do talk about the breakdown of society, like not so much the prepper stuff, but ultimately, society, when that starts to break down, then integrity is one of the first things to go for a lot of people, right? And I'm thinking of a cartoon that I saw here a while back where somebody's like, hey, it's getting kind of rough. I'm stockpiling food. And the other guy's like, oh, well, I'm stockpiling ammo. He goes, that doesn't make any sense. You should stockpile food because you're going to need that. He goes, I don't need to stockpile food. Why not? Because you're stockpiling food.
I was going to say, because you're stockpiling food. Yeah. That's pretty much it.
That's really what it comes down to, right? I mean, that's so. Even Robin Sandoval here was a guest on the show. It's been, probably a couple years ago now, talking about how she used to be one of those moms that wore a red T-shirt. She was anti-gun until I think it was Hurricane Katrina had happened, and she saw what was going on in Louisiana, and she lives in Texas, and she's like, what would we do in a case like that? And she was talking to her husband, and she's like, well, I'm going to stockpile, peanut butter and tuna fish. And, we can sit and write it out. And he goes, okay, but what's your plan for the day that people figure out that we've got peanut butter and tuna fish? And she didn't have an answer for that. And that's what really started her thinking. And then she decided, well, maybe we should put a firearm in our house after all. And then maybe we should get, the responsible parties learn how to run it and stuff. And the young parties be taught to respect it and not mess with it and stuff, And then now she's executive director of a Girl and a Gun Women's Shooting League. I mean, she's come a long, long way since then, right? So there are those kind of teachable moments, but it takes a scare like that, I think, sometimes to recenter our focus, to realize that arguing over pronouns doesn't matter, because that ain't the way the world works. The world doesn't care about your pronouns. The world doesn't care about you. And if somebody kicked in your door tomorrow to raid your house and take all your peanut butter and tuna fish, and you didn't survive the process, there will be a few people who knew you that are going to care, but for the most part, the world isn't going to stop, right? The planet keeps turning. we keep spinning through space, and everybody else keeps doing the thing that they do, right? Because in the great scheme of things, you may be the world to one or several people, but to the world, you're just one person, right? And the world does not care. The world will keep going. Um, the animal kingdom doesn't care how many degrees you have, how much money you have, how beautiful you are. They just know that, you know, if a grizzly bear is hungry and they've come across you and you don't have a way to fight that grizzly bear off, then you were a meal. The world doesn't care. And the grizzly bear has no remorse, because that's just how they're programmed, right? Grizzly bears are wired to, again, they're animals. They care about three things, you know, food, water, shelter, right? That's it. Unless they're thrust
Mating.
into a
Got to put
situation
number
for
4 in there. You know, mating.
procreation, sure.
Procreation always important. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, typically most animals, that's once a year. But anyway, yeah, so we could throw that in there occasionally, but and then fight or flight, you know, if they're introduced to a threat or a surprise or something, right? But that's exactly how the world works. And so you know, even in the instructor world of teaching people classes, you know, so if you have a UFC fight, you know, you've got the octagon. There again, there's a referee, there are rules, right? And there's honor, right? So I shouldn't use the UFC, because once you knock somebody down, you do jump on top of them there. So let's say boxing instead. Regular boxing, you get knocked down in boxing. The ref steps in, takes the other person, sends them back to his corner or her corner, right? And you get a chance to get up. And that's honor, right? An honorable fighter won't kick somebody when they're down, right? But then we start teaching self-defense, real self-defense, not karate or taekwondo or anything like that, but real world, you know, you're carrying a firearm, right? There's one rule in the real world in a fight: win. That's it. That's the only rule, right? Because the world doesn't care about rules. The world doesn't care about honor, integrity, or anything else. The world cares about survival of the fittest. You know, and I'm not saying that Darwin was right about everything, but Darwin explained survival of the fittest very well, I thought, because that is how, in my opinion, it was God, but that's how God set the laws of nature into motion, right? The old ones, the weak ones, they get picked off. They're easier meals for the predators, right? The targets of opportunity, right? So again, that's how the world works. And you can wish the world was better. You can wish the world was a certain way. You can wish that certain things were true, but that doesn't make them true. And that doesn't make them safe. And that doesn't make the world a nicer place. The fact is that people are going to be ugly to other people. And we'll never stamp that out. People are always going to be racist. People are always going to be prejudiced. We'll never stamp that out. Now, we have laws in place that say that you can't treat people differently based on, you know, these certain features. And if you do, then you get punished, because that's not how we have agreed to treat each other, right? And we didn't always have it right in this country, but we're learning, we're growing, and we're trying to make things better overall. But again, I'm worried about lately, because right now, you know, we've got somebody who went into a school last week, shot 6 people, 3 of them children, and a couple days later, the president's on TV saying that the trans community are the ones that we need to care about. You know, they're the heart and soul of our nation. And nothing about the Christian martyrs who literally died because of their faith, or the faith of their parents, at least. You know, we don't want to talk about that kind of stuff. We just want to say that, you know, we want to sweep under the rug the fact that we've got somebody who has got some issues. And I'm not saying that they snapped because they were trans, and I'm not saying that trans people are bad or that they're killers. I am saying that I thought it was pretty tone deaf to come out and do that. Because if that shooter hadn't been trans, if that shooter had been, let's say that shooter was, give me a different group here, not the Proud Boys, because those are already outlawed or ostracized, but
like a MAGA supporter, right? Maybe they had a MAGA hat on
yeah,
or something
maybe.
like
I mean,
that.
they already are trying to paint MAGA supporters as evil. I guess I don't know.
Like
I don't have time. The brain
some like
power.
pro NRA person that's
Yeah.
NRA online or something.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't even want to bring that up because there's never been an NRA member that's ever committed a public.
I mean, how about if it was just like your
shooting like
average
that.
ordinary person, just your average ordinary white male?
Right. Well, what if let's go the other way around. Let's say that it was a Christian that walked in and shot a bunch of trans kids in a school. And then the president had come out and said, well, we really got to stand with our Christians. That wouldn't work. That wouldn't happen. Right. I mean, and if even if it would be true, that'd be pretty tone deaf. Right. I mean, it wouldn't matter. I wouldn't care what communities the shooter was part of, the killer was part of, to come out and embrace the things that, that the news only wants to talk about about the killer. All right. And then come out and just say, hey, we need to, pay attention to these people. It's going to leave a lot of bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. Is that intentional? I don't know. Maybe. So yeah, DJ, hold up. Christian martyrs. Yeah. When you're killed for your faith, then that makes you a martyr. So, yep, those kids were martyrs, and so were those faculty. If they weren't Christians and they were just there for a paycheck, then no, those don't count. But yeah, that's what it means when you're killed for your faith. So, G says it might seem like the world doesn't care, but the world is made up of many things, and some of those things do care about you. And if some don't know you yet, how could they realize they can care? Yeah. Now, the world at large, the world doesn't care, right? Again, we make societies for ourselves. There's a society that is our government, right? There's a society that is here tonight. We're a society. We're a group of people who have agreed to get along, right? We don't have necessarily a document laying out our bylaws and our rules, but at the same time, we've all agreed that we agree on certain points, right? Not always everything, which that's fine, that's healthy. But there are points that we all agree on, and that's where we, base our common ground and our friendship upon all that stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, that's a society, your family, your close friends, the people who care about you, the people who love you. There's just a lot of stuff that, yeah, those people care. But again, that's within your groups, within your society, your communities, whatever you want to call them, right? So the world at large doesn't matter. I mean, again, one person dies, stick your finger in a puddle of water and then pull it back out. That's how big a hole that one person actually leaves in the world. Now, again, to the people that cared about that one person, sure, it's a huge rift. But ultimately, in the great scheme of things, if I died tomorrow, the world keeps turning. And Sandhill Sweetheart may be, crushed, but that doesn't stop life. The dog still needs fed. The bills still need paid. The lights are going to get turned off if the electric bill doesn't get paid, right? You don't get a pass just because you're struggling. There are some struggles, and yeah, the people that care about you, right? There's help. There's all kinds of stuff like that. I'm not saying that just because you're struggling that you don't matter. I'm saying that the great scheme of things in the world, the world doesn't care about you, right? So thank goodness, and hopefully, if you're listening to me, hopefully you do have people that care about you, or hopefully you find them. There are people that will care for you, that care what you have to say. There are people that care what you're going through, right? So go find those people. But just understand that you've got to do what you've got to do for you. But you can't expect the whole world to bend around that, right? I've got problems, but I can't expect all of you guys out there listening right now to change your lives to accommodate my problems either, right? Because that's not the way the world works. You've got your own stuff, right? We've all got our own stuff. So yeah, sometimes people are cool and they care about other people and they're willing to help out other people, listen to them, help them out, financially or whatever kind of help they need at the time. Yeah, that's a good thing. That is the benefit of society. That is a benefit of a lot of people of faith who believe that they should act in kindness toward others, right? But kindness again is a construct. Um, Kindness is a thing that happens within your familiar circles. We see that in animals, even. Sure, as animals raise their young, they're very kind and loving towards those animals. Sometimes those bonds last through adulthood, but ultimately, when animals fight with each other, I mean, it's a fight to the death or the first one that can escape when they find out they're not going to win, right? I mean, so ultimately, again, the world doesn't care what you have to say. The world doesn't think you matter. The world at large, the planet, laws of nature, right? It's still going to happen no matter what we say. No matter how many laws we pass, the weather's going to do what the weather's going to do. The truth is that we have to have our society. I don't want our society to go away. I don't know how to right the ship. I don't know how to turn the bus around, whatever metaphor you want to use. We're going down a dangerous path, and I don't know where the point of no return is. I don't think we're past it. I honestly don't believe in my heart that it's too late. I just don't know what to do. So hopefully I've made you guys think a little bit tonight. Hopefully maybe some of you might know what to do. I mean, it's not just enough to tell me because I don't have the authority to act on it. But if enough of us decide on a plan of action and enough of us get loud enough, then other people will listen and they will get loud too, right? So that's really what we need to figure out is before it's too late, how do we change this without, I guess, without alienating everybody? Sure, there's going to be a few people that get butthurt, and if they end up moving to Canada because we refuse to admit things that aren't true, then fine, right? But at the end of the day, there is a way that truth can prevail. I know it. I don't know how to make that happen. And from a biblical standpoint, I don't know that it will. Right? I mean, it's just we may just be in for a bumpy ride. It's hard telling. So again, you have to get used to the fact that some things are true. I still resist that. I resist being forced to admit things that aren't true. So I guess I don't know where that leaves us, right? But ultimately, I mean, there are people out there that want us dead. There are people out there that would see ugly things done to us, right? So be prepared. Understand how the world works. Understand that the world's not always sunshine and rainbows, and prepare for that. And then do better. Don't be like that. Be better, right? I tell people all the time that I'm a grumpy old man and I don't care about people. I do care about people. They piss me off, and I sometimes just need to growl about people and come home and not be around them for a while, recharge until the next day when I have to go out and people again. But ultimately, I don't want to make anybody think that I don't care. Sometimes I care a little too much, which is sometimes why we talk about some of the things we talk about in here. I wouldn't be an instructor for firearms and teaching people how to take responsibility for their own safety if I didn't care about people, right? So I want people to be able to stand up against the world. The more people we empower with confidence, with common sense, with critical thought, the easier it gets for the truth to prevail, right? And I want the truth to prevail, even if the truth is something I don't like. So I still prefer actual truth to a made up lie that doesn't benefit anybody, right? I can't think of any lies that benefit society. You know, I just can't. You know, you tell kids that you know, you can be anything you want. Sure, that's true, but you could lie by omission if you leave out. But you have to be willing to put in the effort. You have to be willing to work at it, right? I mean, ask Shaquille O'Neal if he had to put the effort in to get good at basketball, because before he started high school, he couldn't play basketball to save his life. So he decided that he wanted to be good at something. He applied himself. He made it his goal, right? His passion. And look where it took him. Yeah, you can be anything, you can do anything you want to do, but you have to be willing to put the effort in. It's going to require sacrifices too, right? You can't have everything all the time. If you want a certain thing, you're going to have to be willing to sacrifice other things to get there. If you want to live your life as the opposite gender of what you were born, then you can do that in this country without getting, you know, fear of being beheaded or anything else. But you're going to have to make sacrifices. There are going to be people that don't like that. You're going to have to deal with the world the way it is, no matter how bad you wish it was otherwise, right? So again, if you're not a jerk to people, you'll find out that most people won't be a jerk back. If you are a transgendered person and you want to be in the firearm owners community, come on in. We will find a spot for you at the table because you are welcome here. Don't get me wrong. Okay. If you, I don't care who you love. I don't care who you worship. I don't care. Honestly, I don't care how you're registered and how you vote. We may not agree on a lot of things, but if you agree that the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed means government needs to keep their sticky mitts off, then we can agree on that. We can work together and we can fight side by side. That's really all I care about in that respect. So I don't know. Again, I know that my feelings, my beliefs are complicated. Sometimes I don't understand them myself well enough to articulate them into the right words to explain to somebody else exactly how I feel about a given topic. But I'm working on it. And you guys being my sounding board helps me sometimes, because the more of this I put out in my outside voice, you know, I can think about it internally all I want, but some things sound great until you say them out loud, right? And then you're like, oh, that's actually kind of stupid. Or other times I'm like, holy crap, I'm not smart enough to come up with something like that. Where'd those words come from? So that's rare. So that's where we go there. Travis, what do you think? Is there a chance to turn this ship around? What do you think?
I don't know, man. I see the world is right now, and you know, people are going to live how they want to live, and they're going to live how they're told to live, and they're going to live how they want to live, and the race just keeps on doing. Well, not the race, but I'm just saying, like, the human species just kind of keeps on doing what it's doing. So just live your life and be happy, man. Just live your life and try to be as happy as you can. That's about all you can do, you know, because you're the only one that's in control of your own life. So yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like I said, that's why I like our conversation earlier. I just go to the range. That's my place of zen. So,
that's right.
If this left anybody frustrated or upset or tense, just have a nice range session. Just go out there and just have a good time, and go get a cup of coffee afterwards, and you'll realize in the end nothing matters, because at some point we're all going to be gone. So,
well, and that's just it, right? I mean, you've got 2 dates and a dash on your tombstone, right? So,
yep.
The dates don't matter. The only thing that matters is what you do with the dash.
Yeah.
So yeah, make the best of it. Try to make this world a place that's worth living in, right? Figure out for you what that means and go for it. The best part about this country is you and I don't have to agree on everything. In fact, you and I don't have to agree on anything. We still both have the right to live here. The only time we have a problem is when your beliefs and my beliefs clash at such a point that one of us is stepping on the other one's toes. Now we got a problem. So G-Webs is going to sum up the night. This all started with 9mm. If that metric fad is over, then all will be at peace. I agree. If we ever solve that one, then none of the rest of it matters. So, and that's the problem, is we've got these guys, and I say this time and time again, but it started with 9mm, then it went to 10mm, then it went to that 10mm short, and somebody tried to, again, let's use the truth here. Is it 40 Smith & Wesson, or is it just 10mm short? Yeah.
I call it 10mm super carry, 40mm super carry.
It's still metric. It's 10 millimeters short.
40 millimeter.
40
40
millimeter.
40 millimeter super carry. Lob it off your ATV.
I am 100% in favor of.
Sorry, it's been a long day, and I can't
let's all
even think
get
of
40
measurements
millimeters.
anymore, dude. So yeah, I'm done thinking. My brain's basically a waffle at this point. Just
I had all kinds of cool stuff that I wanted to say that I didn't write down in time the other day, and now my brain's mush tonight. So
oh, dude, I'm
you guys,
sorry.
this is what happens when I start the show and my brain's already halfway mush.
See,
and
if we would have had the show at 5:30 when I was up and alert and ready to go, we would have had just a heavy discussion and some good discourse. And
I was up late last night, and
John, I'll tell you what, man.
Well, but
priorities, bro.
Dude, priorities, right? I saw my Avs win in overtime, so it was worth staying up.
Okay, good point. Never mind. All right. That's worth it. That made it all worth it.
The overtime goal away for the win, the 2 points there in the standings, and scored his what was it? 501st. Is it 501st goal? Yeah, I think so. And 1,000 points now or something like that career. I mean, he's just kind of turning it up. And we got one other player that is Smith. He's got 49 goals for the season. He's trying to get to 50 on the season.
That's quite the soccer player there, John.
That's a lot of soccer right there.
Yeah.
Soccer on knife blades. That's what it is, with the club in your hand.
Oh, is that what that hockey stuff is all about? I wouldn't know.
It's just like soccer, but you get
dude, I love hockey. I'm Stars fan, Racers fan.
You get to play it with knives on your feet and a club in your hand. What could be better?
Yeah, that's awesome, man. At high speed too.
At very high speed. And
yeah.
If you think those kids down at the Stars are fast, which they are, watch.
I couldn't imagine going the next level up, dude.
Go watch the pro game. It's like watching a college football game, and then watching a professional football game. I mean, those guys are half again bigger and half again faster yet. So yeah, it's fun. So all right, we're gonna wrap things up. Pat had to pop out. Travis, you're it right now, so you get to wrap things up. Final thoughts.
Plug,
whatever
tonight,
you want to plug.
Yeah, we talked about all kinds of stuff. It's kind of hard to sum up tonight's episode, but
it really was. This was all over the place, chat.
It was good. I thought it was just something different. It was something different. That's always a good thing. As for me, shameless plugs as usual. Check out Caliber Corner Saturday morning at 8 a.m. We've got another just kind of past, present, future of another gun brand. We're going to talk about CZ. I've been doing a different brand every week. It's kind of fun looking at kind of where the brand is, how it's evolved, what they offer now, what they used to offer, what they're going to offer in the future, because we talk guns and ammo. And then also Thunder on the Prairie 2023 is coming up. So make sure that you guys get over to Nebraska Shooters and get signed up for that event. It's the first weekend in June. A lot of sponsors on board. Mead Ammo has committed to it. Blackout Coffee Company, Monstrum, VersaCarry. We're working on Bear Creek Arsenal, but they do like a once a month meeting to approve donating items for events. They meet once a month. So hopefully we got our stuff, I think like mid-April, towards the end of April, maybe early May or something last year. And Cleanse Oil sent us a huge box of swag we're going to give away. We got the swag bags. Like we got the bags now. So we're going to start filling them up with stuff. And it's going to be fun. We're going to have a shooting competition like the first half of the morning and then open range the rest of the day. And then on Sunday, we're going to let people have a chance to film on the range if they want to make videos, product tests, try each other's firearms out, whatever they want to do. I'll have a cleaning station set up so you can work on getting your guns cleaned up at any point during the day if you need to. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be really cool. We're doing kind of like a Top Shot style competition, and Defense Dad is spearheading a lot of this event too. I'm just kind of there helping out and working with him, kind of getting the word out. So it's going to be a good time, man.
Very cool. All right. So yeah, again, I wish that we could be there, but we're booked that weekend. So we've got it blocked off for 2024. So we can actually make it and hang out with some people and meet some more people that we've never got to meet yet. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to get there a year from now, which it should grow even bigger, hopefully. So make sure that if you can go to Thunder on the Prairie this year, make it a big event. So next year it's even bigger. And then I can get there and, they still have it. That's what we need. We need it to be just as big or bigger so that it persists and it's worth the sponsors coming back for. So
John, I got one more shameless plug I got to get out there. My good friend of mine who moved up here from Texas. Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry.
All right.
All right. So what it is I got a good buddy of mine and his family moved here from Texas. And we've got a YouTube channel that we're starting up together called Live, Love, Nebraska. And so we're going to talk about all things Nebraska, restaurants, places to go, things to do. And I'll put the link out there if you guys want to sign up for the channel. There's not much on the channel right now. We've been kind of brainstorming ideas and where to go, what to film, and what to do. So it's going to be pretty cool. So I'll just give you guys a link for it if you want to get over there and subscribe and check it out. It's going to be all the cool stuff that Nebraska has to offer. It's just kind of a neat way to just kind of show the state what we do and how we are. And we reposted one of the videos that was on my channel earlier just to have something up, just to get the channel active with YouTube. And then we're going to start filming, I think, this weekend or next week. So it's going to be a good time. Should be cool, man. Yep.
So what's it called again?
Live Love Nebraska.
Live Love Nebraska.
I think we've got that trademark now on Instagram and like Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff. We got a little logo that Gizzard Gary made for us, and Defense Dad's going to be doing some photography for us. Going to get a website up and running. So yeah,
very cool.
We'll talk about all the cool venues to check out when you come here.
Sandhill Sweetheart says you have a new subscriber, but you actually have 2 new ones because DJ just subbed too.
Woohoo! All right, cool.
All right, so very cool. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I know I didn't give you a lot of chance to talk, but sometimes I just get rolling, and I know people don't always know how to respond to what I say too. G wants to know, will you acknowledge the panhandle on your new channel, or just act like it's not there?
Dude, I spent 20 years of my life in central Nebraska. People act like nothing exists west of Lincoln. No, we're all about that, dude. Road tripping out there, Chimney Rock, maybe go to the first Cabela's. Who knows, man? Right? And you know what? We might even go hit the mountain time zone to show people that there is a mountain time zone.
Well, if you're going to Chimney Rock and the first Cabela's, you will be in mountain
absolutely
time. Now,
absolutely.
It's not like it's a time zone that matters, but still, it's there.
You know, I guess, God, we have to make it work, I suppose, just because those people that, or maybe go to the highest elevation point in Nebraska, which is higher than Denver, that people don't. And we do it without mountains because we're that awesome, right? Yep. Isn't it like 5,290 feet or something, like the northwest corner of the state?
Just over a mile, yeah.
Yeah, we beat Denver, guys.
Yep, pretty cool. Very cool. All right, and as far as stuff that I'm going to plug real quick,
G-Webs. Yeah. Well, Gary, we've been kind of hiding those closet mountain time people. We just haven't given them acknowledgement because, well, you know, they're there. There's like 30 of them, I suppose, you know.
Yeah. No, so plugs, make sure that you go and follow Nebraska Firearms Owners Association on YouTube and Facebook. That's the best way to get especially on Facebook, to get the updates the soonest for permitless carry here in Nebraska. Also, I want everybody to, go follow Sandhills Defense also on Facebook. I'm thinking about doing some YouTube stuff. I'm trying to figure out a way to put some videos up. Just some quick videos, like, if you forgot what I said about the steps to, drawing from concealment, and go through a quick how-to on that one. The how to rack a slide when you don't have all the hand strength in the world or something like that. Making a few of those quick videos, and I'm trying to figure out how do I do that.
Like beginner's guide to concealed carry?
Do I put them behind a paywall? And I've not figured out for sure what I'm going to do there. But we'll get it figured out. But also, I would love it if you would come and train with me, not under me as the instructor, but just side by side as the student. So Nebraska Shooters they're hosting several classes throughout the summer from Norm Hood. He's actually coming up to Pierce, Nebraska, which is just north of where I live. I'm going to put some links up here in the chat. Why didn't I? Maybe if I copy that real quick, can I get it on Rumble? I can. All right, there it is on Rumble. So the day one is Fighting Handgun. That's Saturday, May 20th. If you can make it up to that, that would be cool to have you there in the class. And there's the link to get the details on that. Day two, I have to talk while I'm doing this. I'm going to copy that over. We'll do this. Norm Hood.
Whoever says that he's got an onion ring review for Nebraska. Oh, man.
Do that, and then I'll copy the whole thing before I send it up there. Copy that into Rumble as well. Post that. There are the links for those. So Fighting Handgun, and then the Urban Rifle, and I've got those on Facebook and YouTube as well. If you're close enough to Northeast Nebraska and want to take the class, I believe either one on its own is a $200 class. If you do both of them, you get $50 off, so $350 if you're going to both days. it's not, for what you get, the training that you're going to get from Norm, which I understand is, top notch. It seems like it's not too bad for what you're going to do there. So basically the fighting handgun one, it sounds like he's not going to teach you how to shoot, but he is going to have you running that gun in a lot of unorthodox positions, scenarios and things like that we don't normally practice just in a typical range session. He's going to take people out of their comfort bubble. And then urban rifle is sounds like it's just a whole lot about learning how to run your whatever automatic rifle you're running, and then applying it in a self-defense capacity. So I want to take that, and eventually I want to become a USCCA instructor on the AR-15 fundamentals class as well. So if I can get that to come to Nebraska, so Nebraska instructors don't have to travel to either Alabama or Wisconsin to.
Dude, you do that, I'm there, bro. I'm there.
Well, you have to be an instructor first.
No, I'm there. I'll take it. You can instruct me on it. That'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, once I get it,
absolutely, dude.
In the tool belt, yeah, that's gonna be a fun one to teach.
And that could be a different tier from concealed carry. I mean, that could be a whole nother
yeah.
market that's very underserved in our area.
It's a whole separate thing for a lot of people have ARs, but not a lot of people know how.
Go hold it out on the Panhandle. You have like 1,000 people sign up for it.
Yeah, exactly.
You probably would because you'll go there.
Yeah, and I sure have class will travel, right? So
absolutely, man.
So, all right. If you have not subscribed to us on Rumble, please go do so. If you have not subscribed on Spotify, go subscribe to us there too under Sandhills Media, because I can get some extra stuff. I think I can actually monetize if I can get up to 100 subs. Right now we're at 20 on Spotify. So that's what it was saying earlier when I was looking at some stuff. I can do some extra fun stuff once we get there. So go find us on Spotify. I don't even want to. I'm not going to bother putting the links up. If you want to bad enough, you'll go find us. Spotify, Rumble, Facebook, YouTube. Make sure you're following on all the places. Go join Nebraska Firearms Owners Association. It's free to join. We're cutting membership price in half all night tonight, the rest of the night. So that $0, I'm going to slash that in half. If we can get permitless carry, state number 26 is out. State number 27, we're working on that now. So we're pushing.
Florida beat us to it. Disneyland beat us to it.
There was a chance that we were going to be the first one, and then just out of left field comes this Florida thing happening. So, of course, we can open carry, and they cannot still. So that's a thing. But thanks for hanging out with us. If you're still with us, thanks for hanging out for the whole show. Again, hit the share button, hit the like button. Let all the platforms know that you were here. Those comments help us. The likes help. Even the dislikes help us. But again, if you would really want to help us, hit the share button and share this with people. Have them subscribe to. Have them follow along and come and comment. And again, if you don't like what I said, that's fine. That's what the comments are for. You can tell me about it, and I might even address that. Or sometimes to keep the conversation going, we can't get to everybody, and those are the fun nights when there's so many comments that I can't field them all. So, all right, we're going to take off again on behalf of Pat. And we have a list. Look, we have a list. We can't go without the list. So again, on the Rumble, we had Jeff out there. Was it on the Facebook side? We had Scott. We had Jay. I think that might have been it. If you were on Facebook and you were commenting, you didn't comment enough, because Jay and Scott were the only ones that I can remember coming through there. On the YouTube side, we had quite a few of you out there. Kingpin, Jeff Moeller, DJ Play Nice, Travis P11, G Webs. What is that, Steve? I didn't see those comments. Oh, Steve Zero, Keith Gregory, Clint Torres, Fluffy 10mm Jeep guy. What's up, Fluffy? I didn't see you out there. Pat in a Bunker, M. Gabriel, Gizzard Gary, John Crump Live. Over there on Pat's side, we had Pat. We had 223 DMR. We had Burnaby Sanchez. I think there may have been some others, but I'm not seeing them as I scroll through here. So again, thanks for the comments. We appreciate it. Catch us again next week. I don't know yet what we're talking about. It's probably going to be something a little bit lighter, maybe a little bit more fun. So we'll see what we can figure out for for a topic for next week. Still trying to get Chris Cruz in here from Blaze Media and line up a time to get him here just to kind of hang out too. And that'll be a fun conversation. He's a cool guy. All right, we're gonna jet. Thanks again on behalf of Pat and Travis, Sandhill Sweetheart. I don't even know if you guys got to see the dog tonight. She's kind of worn out, I think, from running around out in the yard all day. Not all day, but earlier tonight anyway, all evening. So on behalf of Liberty Bell and the Noisy Cat and the Not Noisy Cat and myself, thanks for being here. We love you. God bless you. Help us grow. Share the heck out of it. Tell everybody to come check out this weird show that you never know what you're going to get. This show was like a box of chocolates, really. You never know what you're going to get. So, but right now I know what you're going to get or what you have to get because it's that time. You've got to get off my lawn.
Bye, Felicia. Pass me the chocolates. I like the caramels.
You're my